Hey, everybody, it's Mac with Veterans Achieve Business Systems. Today we have Dr. Valerie Mills as our featured speaker. And I was just saying to the group, Valerie and I met tied into another group. We spent time in a breakout room together and connected. And I've always been one to say that if you don't show up, you don't know what you missed. And because Valerie and I were in this breakout room. We continued the conversation afterwards, and she called me the other evening, and for 2 hours I was laughing so hard. I almost peed my pants a couple times. But yeah, it's one of the things that I like about what we do, trying to um, put ourselves out there and getting to know each other. When we're in a Zoom meeting with ourselves and that, we get 1 minute or 2 minutes. We don't really get to know each other. And um, the platform that we're using for the veterans mastermind, we're trying to overcome that by having people of interest give more than just the 1 or 2 minutes. Um, Valerie, I've kind of given you, and we have two Vals in here. We have a Val and a Valerie today, but Valerie, um, I really want to thank you for taking the time to come on to the Zoom today and talk. I think cybersecurity, which is your specialty, and I was kind of amazed when you started talking about your pedigree and dealing with multiple national companies or countries and working on different projects and stuff. And for all of us, no matter what level we're at, we know that the cyber issue is a very delicate process, and we have to be alert. There are a lot of bad actors out there, and all of our hard work can kind of go to the side, so to speak, if we're not paying attention or if we're letting the wrong person. Um, I feel pretty naive as far as what to look for. And I'm looking forward today to have you talk about what people should be aware of um, from all levels. I mean, most of the people that will be seeing this are solopreneurs, some of them just getting started. The gentleman Jim Wilkinson that's coming on, he's been around for multiple decades dealing with what he does. But what I'd like to hear you say after you go in and talk about your resume and what you do, what people should be aware of, and how do people protect themselves from the evils out there? I know that when I changed IT guys, he started showing me the spam emails in all the different countries that were, trying to, get into my stuff. China, Czechoslovakia, Russia, the Philippines. I had a couple from North Korea. I didn't know North Korea could come into our systems. So I'm really interested in hearing what you have to say and of course, how we can maintain and develop a contact with you. moving forward for more assistance. So I'm going to let you take this over, and we'll put questions into the chat if something comes up, and we'll go from there. Valerie, it's yours.
Thanks. Mac, thank you. And thank you for inviting me. This is really a lot. And the other thing is, I want to go to any service member that is going from service into private industry. You have a part in cybersecurity and AI because you guys are trained, you're disciplined, you already have the way to think and everything. But my background is pretty simple. I'm 58 years old, and my father was in the U.S. Army. So at the age of 7, I started with computers, and I started working on them down at my dad's place, playing little soldier. And they were teaching me all kinds of things back when most people didn't even know computers existed in the early 70s. And I loved it. And I loved being around all the guys. They were like my brothers. So I just got a very big taste for it and kept doing it. Even in high school, we splurged and got a computer, which most people didn't have one back in the early 80s. And my mom and dad would say, "Oh, you can't touch it." But then something would go wrong. They went, "Can you fix this?" And then walk off. They'd be like, "Oh, good God, the kid." So, and my dad, by the way, was a logistics supply sergeant. So basically operations. And my mom, an accountant, bookkeeper. So I got two alphas that were really just, great. So I was really great at math, science, and organization. So long story short, I actually decided to do my bachelor's of science in computer science with a minor in mathematics. Now, please note, I'm also was one class away from a minor in physics and a minor in German, but hey, forgive me. We do digress. And I got that in 1989. And then in 1992, I finished with a master's in human computer interface design and artificial intelligence, which most people think, oh, AI is new. No, it's been around since the 50s. And it's really you're seeing the part where it interacts with you. You're not seeing all the machine language back there. But when I was at Auburn University, I caught my first hacker when I worked for the wide area network administrator for Auburn. So I caught my first hacker in 1991. And I was so proud. And I even got them to do something they will not allow you to do today, which was call the hacker and tell him how bad he was right before the police banged on his door in Texas to arrest him. And I did say War Eagle. It was my privilege to do that. My boss thought it was funny too. But I'm also I'm one of those that can cause a lot of hectic things. If you're familiar with Unix or ever heard the term, there was a version called Sun Unix. I'm the reason they have a footnote in the book not to move the libraries to a virtual link. I crashed a whole entire system for the university. Thank you. I've also crashed a whole entire mini mainframe at my first school. Yeah, they didn't tell me I couldn't do what I was doing. So I ended up going out into the private industry after my master's, and I wanted to stay on the East Coast because of my mom. And long story short, I didn't do AI. I did what I was really good at, which was systems. And what happened was I ended up working for a couple of international companies. One was a French company called Schlumberger, and I did a lot of automation stuff with that for them and system administration. And start finding internal hackers. Sometimes the people that work with you or for you or even your family can be the ones opening up the doors to let anybody in. You don't want that. And engineering thought that they controlled that environment until they met me. And they were going in, and we had this closet where all the connections were. And they literally had gotten the code to the door from the previous administrator, or going in there, changing their connections whenever they want it. They did not know me. I changed everything over a weekend, the whole 9 yards, but left the code. And one day I get a call. The president says his connection's not working. I went in there, sat down, took the wire out because I had changed the wire colors so they didn't know. Took the one that I knew was theirs. And when they came in to change it back, I came around the corner and I said, "How'd you get the code?" They couldn't answer me. And then I said, "Oh, by the way," and I took some scissors and I cut their cable in half. And I said, "If you ever come in my room and do this again, I'll cut you off the internet permanently." You can't do that. Yes, I can. You don't know me. My scissors work on all these cables. I will cut them all. So I solved that problem. And then I had them in this company, particularly the marketing guys were out all the time. And they would allow anybody to give them a disk or a thumb drive and put it in their computers. So every week I was cleaning their computers. So, two lessons. One, know who's got your codes, even on just physical security. Who's got your keys to your house? Who's got the keys to your business? Who's got your codes? Any alarm codes or anything like that? You got to know those. You got to know who's got them. And if you're getting rid of somebody, change them. Even if they give the key back, unless they're a friend, well, not a friend, well, sometimes a friend, but a family member, I would change my locks just to be honest, because they could have made a copy. Now, the other thing is anything that they had access to. So your emails, your marketing, anything that has a password and a login, you need to change your passwords. Matter of fact, a good practice for personal is every 180 days. For your business, every 90 days, change your passwords. And the reason, passwords are easy for most people to guess. Try to make it a phrase in your mind, something you can sing or something you can say, and either take the first letter or the whole phrase. And always put at least one, either exclamation point or at sign like that in it, and a number. I say put the numbers in the middle. That usually throws them off. Or put the first letter and the numbers and then the rest of it. So it just really throws off hackers. Hackers, I don't know if all of you heard about the McDonald's hack that just happened for the employees that were applying to McDonald's. They were using the passcode 12345. Yep. Yeah, and that's how they got broken into their AI system that was actually doing all the pre-interviews, and they hacked the system of McDonald's. Now, if you don't know, just at the end of last year, the famous museum, the Louvre, got heisted. Somebody was trying to figure out what the password was. It was Louvre with a few numbers. That was it. Not a good password. So the other thing is never use the name of a family member, never use the name of your company, never use the name of your favorite pet, because if you talk about those ever to anybody or on social media, they're easy to guess. So then I ended up going from Schlumberger. I worked for a company called CTEP, Society International Day Telecommunications Aeronautics. And they found I was really good at project management also. But this is back in the days where in IT, we didn't just do, the computers, we did everything, including the cybersecurity. And I worked with 220 countries and regions around the world. We were the network for the whole entire airline industry around the world. And that's the one thing they shared. They just competed on the moving people, moving cargo. So there was constantly, Mac, where you were saying that you're finding that you're getting hacked by all kinds of countries. No, this was just a normal. So we had what was called a DMZ, a demilitarized zone. But basically, it's a place where we can put things in there that possibly do not work well with us. Like for Iran, I had a server in the United States, but it had to be in the DMZ because two countries don't like each other and we don't want anything to cross. So that's the next thing you need to consider for your businesses and all that is how are you actually separating your stuff? Meaning, do I have everything in the same place? If you do, if one goes down because it gets hacked, they all go down, and you don't want that to happen. The other thing is, what are your backups? And don't be like most, every organization, the majority of organizations have one big problem. They tell you they back up, but they never test them. Never. They're like, oh, but it's at Iron Mountain. Well, that's great, but have you tested it? Have you tried to see if it'll come back? Well, why would I do that? Well, what if everything goes down? Yeah, Jim, I see your face. You know what I'm talking about. So you need to also be that way about your business and your personal. What are you going to do if you lose all your stuff? What are you going to do if you don't remember it? Now, I use an acronym called ICE, in case of emergency. So for personal, you should have an in case of emergency, an ICE thumb drive. 3 copies. One at the house that you update all the time, preferably in a fireproof box, one in a safe deposit box, and one somewhere else where nobody can get it. And for personal, I would have things like all your emails in a spreadsheet. Hopefully, you can just print that out and write the passcodes because you don't want to get that drive stolen. Credit card information, passport information, insurance information, you name it. You want all of that on one drive. For your business, I would have an iDrive too, especially if you're a small businessman or a woman. You want to keep that also because what happens if, just a natural disaster, everything from an earthquake, hurricane, snowstorm, or flood or fire? Yes, Jim.
Change from if to when.
I'm trying to be nice. Don't scare them too bad. Yes, it is usually when. It's not usually if. But the best thing is to always be prepared. And remember, if you're doing this for your business, the safety deposit box becomes an actual tax deduction. And that way you can save very important documents for your business there and that iDrive. And you put your personal one in there too. Then you need to do rotation. How do I actually make sure that I'm keeping my information updated? Make yourself a schedule. Literally put it on your schedule that, pick the day, for 15 minutes, I do the backups for my personal, I do the backups for my business. Because if you don't, then, and Jim will tell you, the day you need it, it won't be worth it to you. Yeah.
I rotate every Friday, and every quarter I test.
That is absolutely a fantastic plan. Now, I'd say for businesses, I would test probably monthly until you're absolutely secure in what you're doing. For personal, I think quarterly is more than enough. Now, when I worked at CETA, I worked in operations, which explains, I learned it from my dad. And I implemented the first failover worldwide of server farms in less than 15 minutes between 3 server farms in the world. And nobody said it was possible. They all told me it was not possible. Yeah, it's possible. You just have to think outside the box. And I actually also fixed some stuff for the operations teams because nobody thought about them. Engineering don't always do what they want at first and think about the customer or the user last. Do that same thing about your businesses. Think about your customer first. How are they interacting? Is things going right with everything? Is it working for them? If you're quote unquote breached, how does it affect your customer? Matter of fact, how does it affect what they call your brand, meaning your company's name? If you get a breach, especially being mom and pop and smaller instead of a big corporation, it could end you. And that's why you have your insurance and everything to protect that part, but it could still end you where you have to start and build a new business all over again. Don't allow that to happen to you. That is one of the worst things in the world that you can go through. The other thing is be diligent. When you get an email, like from a Microsoft or anything like that, and it looks important, don't click on it. Look at the address. There might be one word misspelled or one letter changed. And when you do that, you will literally cause yourself not to get hacked. The other thing is most of the like North Korea, China, things like that, Russia, they're called state hackers. And what they do is they're paid by their country to do this because what they're trying to do is get information. Now, most of the Chinese are trying to find out things like, what do we want to buy? Because they'll sell us everything and anything if they know what we want. One of the big things where everybody loves Temu, I wouldn't go on Temu if you paid me. Temu is backed by their government so they can get your information and your buying patterns, which our own government does that. Since Jim, you might know this one. Was it back in the 60s in Arkansas they started following buying patterns of the U.S. consumer? I think it was the 60s.
Not sure.
And now it's easier. When you're on Facebook, there's a program you can open up and you can see everything that's actually looking at you. So, you're on your phone and, hey, I need a new And then all of a sudden you go on Facebook and it's like, hey, buy this. And it's exactly what you were looking at. You're going, well, that's a coincidence. No, it's not. It's they're tracking you to track your buying. They also do that with loyalty cards. They do that with anything that you have on your credit card. All of it's tracked. It's just data, which gets into why places like Saudi Arabia, UAE, Japan, and even the United States are getting into AI data centers and putting billions of dollars into it because it is data. And don't be afraid of AI. AI is just a tool. It's like going from the abacus to the calculator. AI is the scientific calculator. It's got more functions. Most people underuse it, not overuse it. So, what really AI is allowing them to do is look at data quickly. And if you don't use it correct, it's no better than your search engine like a Google or a DuckDuckGo. So if you use it correctly and ask it questions and have conversations with it, you can do the same for your businesses, which means you can actually learn more and do more. You could also do an audit of your business and your cybersecurity and figure out your own weaknesses and your own patterns. And that will actually help you a lot too. What else can I tell you guys? What concerns do any of you have that you'd like to ask?
Yeah, some of the things that we're saying you're talking about AI and everything. What should a business be concerned with tied into AI-driven attacks and the whole social engineering process?
Well, first of all, like I was telling you, look at an address of anything you get because it might have one misspelling in it. The second thing is what's called deepfakes. I started writing about those in 2018. A deepfake is basically very easy to do with AI. It uses language that you're used to from your customers or from yourself. It uses images and it can make videos and it looks very convincing. They only need about 5 to 18 seconds of your voice to actually do a pretty good, decent voice recognition and make it sound like you on an AI video. Now, there are things that you can look for in those videos. Number one, here's the easiest one any of you can do. Did I reach out to this customer, especially if they're saying, oh, I'm getting back to you? Did you reach out to them? Did you send a promo? Don't click on anything in there. Just look at that first. The next thing is the phone number the number I have for my customer? Or is it a different phone number? And if they say, oh, I'm using this number now, no, go back and try the old number first. Don't try the new one. And the reason is because that old number is or the new number is probably actually being sent to another one and it's being rerouted. And it's very easy for your phone number to get spoofed. My doctor's office locally just got spoofed a couple of weeks ago. And they had to send out a whole entire message to all of them saying, we've been spoofed. Please don't answer this. If you get called from this, remember, we don't ask for the following, and never give your patient information or a credit card. And that's what they were doing. And those are common ones. Yeah, Jim.
So I get emails all the time from Amazon, from PayPal, from other organizations saying, thank you for your order, or your account's been hacked, or blah, blah, blah. This is a fraud, and click here. Oh, no, 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 no. Just like what you said. Because look at the email. It's not from Amazon. It's not from PayPal. But people don't look at that. If you get an email from Amazon saying your account's been hacked or something, this order is fraudulent or whatever, do not click the link. Use your normal route to go to Amazon or to go to PayPal or to go whatever bank or whatever it is. Log in there and you'll find there's no record of it because they're just trying to collect your information. You get a phone call and you get a call on the phone and see, my phone's invisible. And there's nobody there and you're talking to them. What are they doing? They're collecting your voice, probably. Okay. At least me, I think that because I'm
Because they are collecting
suspicious.
your voice.
Yeah. Go to hack5.com. Look at all the cool toys you can learn you can buy for hacking into stuff. A thumb drive that's designed that you can plug in and hack. All the tools you need. Spy Guy, okay,
Mhm.
another great site. You'll find out I can buy a ballpoint pen that's got a little camera right here and a microphone. It'll record like 4 hours of video with audio in my shirt pocket, walking around, seeing what's going on, recording everything, including the computer screen. Okay. You can buy glasses now that are
Mhm.
web connected that you can talk to Alexa, and it has cameras so you can video, and it's online and it's web connected. All right. So point is, and I have a RF sniffer I'm putting on the door coming into our factory. Okay. Because you're not allowed when you come into my factory, you're not allowed to bring in thumb drives, ballpoint, any kind of pens. We look at jewelry that you might have on. Okay. Glasses, we look at your glasses. Uh, no phones, no key fobs. You can get a key.
Mhm.
You get a key that looks like the key for my truck here. You can't get it in front of me. Looks like the key for my truck here. That's a thumb drive that's web enabled that you unplug the key and plug it into the USB port. Now that USB port is talking via Wi-Fi to a computer in their car parked out in front of your space. Okay, this is serious stuff, and for the
Now,
cybersecurity, yeah,
the other thing is be very, very careful about giving out your Wi-Fi password in your
oh,
business
yeah. Well, we have a
because
we have a completely separate, not even connected in any way, shape, or form. It's a separate internet IP and a separate internet, a separate router and everything for guest Wi-Fi. That
Mhm.
nobody gets Wi-Fi for the company, and which is not even transmitting. You can set it so it's you have to know the IP and type it in order to even find it. And but we also have two networks running. One is in the secure space that there's no Wi-Fi on it, and it's not connected anywhere to the internet because I'm part of the FBI InfraGard cybersecurity, and
Mhm.
the attitude and the rule is if you're connected to the internet, you are going to be hacked. It's not a
Mhm.
question of if, like I said earlier, it's a question of when you're going to be hacked. And all it takes is one time you don't pay any attention and you click that button, and it's like, OMG, you just really did it. And I'll tell you this, Microsoft is your best friend. If you don't renew your Microsoft 365 subscription, it gets to a certain point, they actually will reach into your computer while you're working on it and erase it all. They did on my computer. My screen went black. I rebooted, and all of my Microsoft 365, including my Outlook, everything is gone. Okay, and which is why I'm now on Linux, and I use I use um, I use a Linux version of Microsoft Office, LibreOffice, and I use Thunderbird for my email. Gotten off of Microsoft everywhere I can, and none of our computers in the secure area are running Windows. They're all on Linux, and some of the computers online are running Windows only because we have to. But you need to have somebody come in and lock your computer down. Uh, any Microsoft application, if you look at your web traffic, is like a machine gun, consuming 2/3 of your traffic on your web traffic, your computer, and they have a total and complete image of your hard drive
Mhm.
in your Microsoft account that you can find it, but you really, really have to look hard for it. And they track it all. And their terms of the use are if you're using our software, whatever our software touches in your computer is our intellectual property, and we're just allowing you to continue to use it. So you write
Yeah,
about
the other thing is, I don't know if you've noticed this. If you use Microsoft Office, like one of my jobs requires me to, and you go to remove your hard drive and make it external, it's got a BitLocker on it now.
oh, really?
I had
Nice.
2 cases of that happen just lately. And that's actually not legal, even with their terms of agreement.
They
And
don't
we're
care.
finding it's happening with the use of Microsoft.
They do not care.
No. But and I know Jim might have just scared some of you. You can use things like Google Docs to get around it. But then on Google Docs, be careful of your settings because you don't want to give Google the same permission that Microsoft has. At least there is a way to turn it off. And the other thing is you don't want to have that as your only source of backup. That's my other reason. Back up everything, including your documents.
Yeah.
You don't want to lose them.
Yeah.
And Microsoft is one of the biggest ones that hackers will hack.
Yeah.
Just to let
Yeah.
you know.
It is. You get a lot of those. I get emails from friends I haven't heard from in eons about, hey, did you hear about this? Blah 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 blah. Click here. Okay. What I do is I pick up my phone and call them on the phone and say, hey, boy, it's great to hear from you. How have you been? Oh, you didn't hear from me. I haven't emailed you. It's like, yeah, I didn't think so, but I thought I'd call and let you know that you've been hacked.
Yeah, it's a big one on phones. The easiest way to hack is through a text message.
Yeah.
Now, I've also worked in telecom. And basically, back in the 90s, 1994, I worked with primarily all men in the industry. And one day I just was standing in what's called the ops center down where all the equipment is. And I said, what happens when we get a virus in the data? They all laughed at me and went, it'll never happen. Yeah, it will. And they went, no, it won't. You're just one of those computer weirdos. Okay. So in 1995, I got called by someone I knew at Verizon, and they said, remember when you said that in 1994 about the data getting a virus? I went, yeah, I said a lot of stuff. He goes, Verizon's now taking it serious. We're getting viruses. I went, yeah, it took you 11 years to listen to me. He goes, yeah, well, what do you expect? I went, okay. So even your phone's hackable. Your phone actually is probably more hackable than even your computer, to be very honest, because you've got your phone on you and you're going out, you're in other networks. I'm very careful about any networks I connect to. I just prefer to stay on my own mobile data and not connect.
When you
It's another reason.
when I travel, I never hook up to the Wi-Fi. I always go through my hotspot on my phone. You don't.
Especially airports are the worst, then
Oh, yeah.
hotels, then internet cafes.
Yeah, and never, ever plug your phone in to a USB port somewhere to charge your phone. They have what's called juice jackers. Okay,
Yep.
while they're charging your phone, they're copying all of your stuff off of your phone. Keep your Wi-Fi and your Bluetooth off unless you're in your car, connected to your car. Okay,
Wouldn't connect to my car.
and no, yeah, so I do, but I don't keep anything of value on my phone except for the contacts I have,
You
and
don't have your credit card information or anything.
no,
And I hopefully your state doesn't do it, but a lot of states are going to go where your ID is on your phone,
yeah, no,
or driver's license, and I don't like that
none
either.
of that, none of that.
But no,
My phone is pretty sterile, okay, on purpose, because you can walk into a Starbucks and if your Wi-Fi is on, my brother, when he was active with the Border Patrol, could actually clean your phone off. In 3 seconds, he could copy your phone with the software he had on his phone or on his computer. So, yeah, don't keep your Wi-Fi on all the time. turn your Wi-Fi off, turn your Bluetooth off. You know, it's a open door saying, "Here I am." Yeah.
Well, the funnier thing is, because you were talking about your pen and stuff that records, and the reason why I talk about not having your car, there is a guy farmer that was in our digital forensics group, and he would take the chip out of his car and put in his own chip, so they couldn't know all the, your speed, where you were, your location, if you had your seatbelt on, all that. He was even more paranoid than the rest. But we were talking to a senator in the state I live in the state of Georgia, because I was trying to get some stuff done, and I had met up with the governor. It helps to know somebody's pets' names. I knew his dog's names. So basically, the governor decided he liked me because of that. And he got this representative to work with us because they wanted PIs to be able to handle digital forensics, which is the examination of your computer. And it's one of the big things that a lot of law enforcement and stuff do. And long story short, Farmer didn't trust the senator who was sitting with us. And so he had his pocket pin in. And this is the same guy that doesn't trust his car stuff and anything. And then afterwards, when the senator left, he goes, "Why was he nice to you and didn't like us?" I said, "Because I trust him." He goes, "But he's a politician." I went, "Didn't say I trust him enough to believe him. I trust him enough to sit here." I said, "There's a difference." So, you do have to be careful, especially today with everything going electronic. It is going to get scarier because a lot more of your information is being taken. And it's because it's sellable. It's worth more than oil. It's worth more than gold. Information about everything you do is got somebody who will buy it. And if there's one person that'll buy it, there's 20 others that will buy it. Yeah, Val, what's going on?
Well, I just was wondering. Oh God bless, I just lost my thought. Um, I'll come back to it. I just lost it. Sorry about
That's
that.
okay. But it's just protect yourself. And one of the biggest protections is, like I said, you need backups. You need to know where all your stuff is. You need to change your passwords, including on your Wi Fi, including on your router. Change your passwords. Don't have the same one. Don't share them. If you get rid of somebody in your mom and pop organization, change everything, including the locks on your door. I know that sounds mean, but you never know. You just don't. The other thing is, I would restrict, unless their job is to be on social media while they're working for you or be on an app like a WhatsApp or something, sharing information or answering customers, I would not allow it. I'd take it off the computers. If they're your computers, they're working at your establishment, take it off. If they're working for you remote, ask them to disable it. Yeah, Oliver, go ahead. You're on mute.
Muted, bud.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, just tell me if some of you have experienced this just recently, a few weeks ago. Just kind of like Jim was explaining. Yeah, like my friend Jonathan, I haven't heard in a while, sends an email. Hey, come celebrate with us. So it's curious, though suspicious. But I guess whoever the hacker was, this crafted it well enough to, I guess, get me to click on it. So yeah, okay, my stupidity. And then and I don't know whether this caused this event, but then I noticed that there was a few moments, and this happened several times. My computer screen would just kind of momentarily blank out, and then this person and Johnson, whoever, now can share your computer, and then the my cursor mouse starts moving on its own. And then so I just okay, just just a hard start, just hit the power buttons, hold it down, like you just hard start, just clean it up, and then yeah, that's happened a few times. So it's and I will now have to go back to my computer guy to just say, okay, hey, now let's fix this. So
Yes, you've got somebody who's accessing your computer, taking everything.
Yeah,
okay,
I'm just going to be honest.
they
okay,
can
Just our
penetrate
silly.
your firewall if you have a
Yeah.
firewall. If you don't, you should have.
yeah,
It,
I believe I do have a firewall, but it's like if they are actually able to now command my computer there, and I assume I did the right thing. Just go ahead and shut it off and restart it, and then
but you need to look for a restart, any of that. Um, because I do teach part-time at a university. I teach the bachelor's and the master's, but my master's is where I'm more of the specialty. And my capstone, I've got two, the undergrad and the grad coming up. We use something called Project Aries, where we simulate actual things that have happened. Yeah, that's one of those simulations. We can restart it every minute. And if they don't turn that off, they can't pass that part of it because it keeps getting restarted. And it's basically not where you would find it normally. You need to go to an IT person or someone else and let them look at it and look for it. But with that said, don't always trust your IT people either.
Yeah.
That's the biggest threat in the world. So you need to really know that IT person and make sure you have a solid agreement with them, and that if anything happens because of something they do, they're 100% responsible.
Hmm.
So,
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Val, go
so I
ahead.
remember. So I have all these oral histories, and I have like 200 of them, and I'm trying to translate or trying to digitize them. But some of the software, everything goes to Google, and I don't want to give anybody these oral histories because no one else has them, and I just am having a real problem with trying to figure out where to go. Like I've got two computers that are offline all the time, and I use them for a lot of things. And I'm using the old software because I don't want Google to get a hold of my content.
Okay, for your oral history, um, are you just trying to transcribe it?
Yeah.
There are transcription softwares, including if you wanted to go really old school, you could go with Dragon Speak. And
Okay.
you speak to it that way, you don't have to go on the network. Now, Dragon Speak has to be trained, and it is stubborn, and it is hard-headed. And if you've got a cold or anything that day, it will mess up your transcription.
Well, part
You can
of
go
that.
to
Okay, go
Otter.
ahead.
You can go to otter.ai, but otter.ai is online, so you're going to have to be connected.
What?
But you can save anywhere, so you don't have to save to Google or anything. So I would recommend starting with Dragon and seeing how you deal with that. I think they have a 7-day free, and that's what I would start with. That way you could do it just on a system without having to be connected to the internet.
So the problem is that every one of them speaks differently, because it's not me that's talking, it's them that's talking.
Otter would be better, but then I would do what Maggie said and store it to your local network storage only and not let it go anywhere else. And you can get an Otter account and write it off as a business expense.
Okay, sounds great.
You
Thank
could
you so much.
use voice to text on your phone and save it off that way too.
Voice to
Text on
text,
the phone works really good.
actually, the Otter AI will correct things faster than voice to text.
Yeah. But she already has the voice to text on her phone. But Otter AI, I'm gonna look into that. So,
Otter AI I use, I'll record meetings in the background when I'm with coaches and stuff. And it's real easy it picks up their accents, anything else, and it translates it. Then I just download it as a transcript and use it again. Now, the other thing, you can actually use AI to do it. But then you want to be behind something like a paid of a $20 a month or a $200 a month. That way, when you do it, you own it for the time being.
Yeah.
Yeah, go Maggie. What's going on?
You're muted, hon.
The one thing about voice to text or anything done with the cell phone is it is recorded by your service provider and kept in record. So I would be very careful, in my opinion, what you use as far as apps or services on your phone unless you have proper security backups.
yeah, that's right. Because if you don't have web connection, the voice to text doesn't work. So yeah, good point, Maggie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good point. Like I said, Val, either Otter or Dragon Speak. And Otter's got a free trial also. Yeah, Oliver, what's going
Well,
on?
I guess the follow-up question to a lot of this is, okay, so I guess it's possible that somebody could, through any of our computers, could be looking at us right now and taking all our information. So
Yeah.
yeah. So I don't, so you don't necessarily have to like I was getting the alert, like, okay, hey, this person now can is looking, you don't necessarily, that person could be looking at
Mhm.
me right now.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I don't like Zoom, which is what we're on right now,
Yeah.
because it's owned by the Chinese, and I'm sure they record and scan all of these with AI for, they mine all of these calls. So I generally, you schedule with me, I use GoToMeeting, which is an American-owned company. It's been around a lot longer than Zoom. So
Hmm. You'll find it funny, Oliver. I've got friends that'll be like, just get in my computer and fix it. And I'm like, do you really want me in your computer? And they're like, yes. I'm like, I can tell you just do not understand what I do. Well, I don't care. Oh, by the way, what's wrong with my computer once you get in? What are you looking at that you keep going? Like, oh, your files, the way you store stuff. No wonder you can't find anything. Yeah. And usually I'm in there and I fix things too. And I'm like, why do you guys keep wanting me to do that? Because you're better than calling Microsoft or somebody. Okay, whatever. So yeah, be careful who you do let in your computer. I'm just gonna be very honest. And to be very honest, going back with what Jim and Maggie said, nothing's 100% secure. The only thing that would be 100% secure is to take what you think, put it in a box, ship it off into space, blow it up, and then go and get hit by a bus. That's the only way it's going to be secure, which means nothing's secure.
You know what I get out of all of this, and I've heard it from so many people, is I'm not important enough for anybody to want my information. And I think that's one of the biggest fallacies because everybody has information. Everybody wants our picture. Everybody wants our voice. You know, is it my social security number or it, I had something the other day. Some of the Achieve people know that uh, Jason and Vicky Leftingill are doing the OJ information story. And one of the people that were there, she was bragging that her father knew Bob Lilly, who is one of my heroes, NFL player. And I opened up my phone, I pulled up Bob Lilly's number, and I had his tax ID number there. And that, and it, it hit me that, we all have information of somebody that if somebody gets into our stuff, they're going to get that information. And uh, on tax
Let me
fees and stuff, we have to keep certain things, or else we have to ask every time. But how do we protect the people that we're working with? Oliver, you're doing all the stuff with distributing your fitness equipment now, and you're getting, you know, if it's Shields or some other big stores information, how do we protect ourselves and our customers so that they don't come back on us?
Well, it's more that you've got to protect yourself by having proper insurance because, again, like Jim, Maggie, and myself have said, you're going to get hacked. Now, let me tell you, Mac, your information is worth more to me than some football player because I can actually sell your ID about 20 to 100 times and make more money. Somebody
What?
famous can come after me. You won't come after me because you don't have enough money. So I would want your ID because I could sell it to people in other countries for fake IDs. I could take your social security number and use it to literally put into the healthcare system. And then all of a sudden, all kinds of diseases you didn't have. You go in one day, your doctor's like, well, you're supposed to be taking medicine for this. Why? According to insurance, and that happens a lot to people and people don't know it. Healthcare data is the easiest to hack. Now, back before everything was on the computer, like it is now, my mom did genealogy. And we went to a Mormon church because they're the best at having old records. And of course, all the old people in there go, because I'm like in my 20s, hey, kid, you know how to do this, fix that. And I turned to my mom, I said, you know that they've got the database of all the deceased people for social security numbers. I can copy this whole thing before we leave, and I could go out the door and sell it in several different countries because they just need the ID number, the social security number to get in the country. They don't have to necessarily use it. Now, the other thing I know is because I've had friends that work for the IRS in the past, yeah, the evil people, and they have to, by law, process 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 as a social security number, even though they know it's fraud. The government can't do anything until the person cashes the check. And then they got them on USPS, fraud, and that way, that's how they go after them. But it's ridiculous that I can use 1 through 9 as my social security number and not get in trouble. Or I could use the dead person's social security number and it doesn't get flagged. And it's just one of those things. And it's common now. It's all on the internet. It's easier to get. So you just have to understand, the lower fruit you are, the more tasty you are to a hacker, because it's easier to use your information. But this has been very common on Facebook. They are still trying to tweak it. People's images are getting stolen and used for like, oh, I do this. Oh, I do that. And they're put on ads that have nothing to do with them. And then because they're not famous enough, they don't have the money, it's harder for them to go through. And intellectual property, like your businesses, all of that, when you go out of this country and you go into Asia, Asia does not have the same laws we have on internet IP, intellectual property. So it's easier for them to get away with it. And our international law doesn't protect us from it. So that's why books that are copyrighted here in the United States or in the West, they're free if you're in India, Pakistan, Asia, any part of China, whatever. They don't have the same copyright laws. They feel if it's on the internet, it's free. So it's just protect. That's why I say always have backups, always have that. The other thing is always have the proper insurance if you're a business. And deal with a reputable IT person that their insurance covers them if something goes wrong.
I know that we have a hard break here in just a couple minutes, Valerie, and that I know you put your information up at the top of the chat. Everybody should save that. Reach out to Valerie if you have more questions. She is offering, I believe it was a 30-minute consultation, Valerie.
Yes, and that was also, it was for military besides civilians, but all my information is on that flyer. Please use it. 30 minutes. I'd be more than happy to answer questions. Anything you need. And follow me on LinkedIn if you like that nerdy stuff.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that
I talk a lot about AI and cyber.
And I think, we've only scratched the surface on what you can share. I think we all need to become more aware. We're all trying to do business. And Val, I think about you and all your recordings and these interviews you've had with prisoners of war and Holocaust survivors and stuff. And well, you want to get that out. You wanted to get it out because it's your efforts. And that, Oliver, I think about you with your equipment, and you're going out, and as new businesses, we all get overzealous about who we're contacting, and that whether we're getting their information or they're getting our information, and we have to protect it. Steve, with what you're doing with HR and conflict stuff, I think that you need to protect yourself. You're at this point of life. You sure don't want somebody coming in and causing you grief. How long does it take for you to get back up and running and clear your name? Maggie, you and I've had this talk for a year now, and that and just how important it is. And I think that you should reach out to Valerie just to share information and know who both of you are. See if you guys can do something together. Any last minute questions before I shut the recorder off?
Well, for Val, if you're doing these digital put a poor man's copyright on it until you get everything officially copyrighted. You want 100 plus years copyrighted on all of that.
That poor man's IP is a farce. It's a waste of time.
Well, you can actually go to the actual what is it?
Copyright.
Um, Library of Congress has a discount, but so does I'll have to get you the other one. But the poor man's copyright, Jim, will scare most Americans, and then that'll give her time to get what she needs.
Yeah, you know, all you have to do is declare it copyrighted. You don't have to actually file it, and that's enforceable in court. So
That's why
just by
I said do the
putting the
poor man's.
copyright,
That way you're covered.
no matter what, you have to take the people to court if they infringe upon you, and they don't want to play nicely. No matter what, you just have the right to take them to court to file for damages, but you have to take them to court. The government does not prosecute, and they do not, they won't issue a cease and desist. You have to hire an attorney to do that. So, yeah, been down that road a lot of times with my clients. So,
A lot of information, guys. And my head is spinning. I got 50 more questions, but I know that Valerie has to go. Um, but Valerie, I will be talking to you about doing part two of this down the road.
Anytime.
cool.
I think this was awesome. So I'm going to stop the recording. I want to thank everybody